Thanks for dropping by. So here's a badly oversprayed face mask I use in my spray foam business. We've been spraying a lot of overhead ceilings, etc., and crud builds up in your mask. So what's going on here? Well, this is an adaptation I've made to some of my masks whereby I have a rip and roll system installed on the mask. It comes from the dirt bike market, and in this project I'm going to show you how we retrofit the rip and roll system onto a face mask that's ruined, where the existing face shield is unrecoverable, damaged beyond repair. So the rip and roll system, they sell it complete with the face shield, and that's important because that's what we're going to overlay on top of the old mask. It comes with 2 rolls of film installed. I also buy the packs in bulk. This is a 48mm film. It's the widest film that rip and roll do. I'd prefer if it was wider, frankly. I prefer a 70 or 80mm film, but you cut your cloth to measure. So the first thing I do is I remove the spools that are screwed onto the face shield that comes from rip and roll. You have to do this in order to get an overlay onto the existing face shield. Otherwise, these spools and the back plate present too much of an obstacle. So they're simple enough. It's just 2 Phillips self-tapping screws. Whip them off, store them safely because you will need them later. Also, the rip and roll face shield comes with a backing plastic protection, peel off protection, and in the course of this video I'll also be putting on the rip and roll peel offs that come with the kit. I'll be putting one on the front of the face shield to protect it during the white, dusty and dirty conversion process, and that'll become evident in a minute. So that's the backing plate. So with both sides now protected with duct tape, I offer it up to the existing face shield, this existing breathing mask. And the idea here is that this will form the template for the cutout and the mounting points for either side of the spools that come with the rip and roll system. So here I'm masking off the letterbox, and this will be your cut area. This is the part of your existing face shield where you'll be cutting out the existing perspex or acrylic face shield. You have to cut out this letterbox because this letterbox is all really that's required, because you're cutting out the old damaged perspex, the old damaged acrylic that you cannot see through anymore. So we mask it, mark it. You can use a Sharpie, you can use a sharp implement, whatever takes your fancy. And in the background there I have my Dremel with an extension head. Now you can use anything you want that you feel comfortable with cutting the perspex. I use a Dremel with a tungsten carbide head because that's what's handy, but in your workshop you mightn't have a Dremel. So you might use a jigsaw, you might use a little hacksaw, an angle grinder. Just make sure you're wearing eye protection, guys, and suitable gloves and breathing equipment because the fumes can come off the perspex. So this is the Dremel grinding through. Now on this particular face shield, the existing plastic is very strong, and I have to redo the cut several times to make progress because the swarf is melting back into the existing perspex. So it takes its own sweet time. You don't want to be in a hurry doing this. You don't want to have anybody shouting at you or asking you questions. You need your full concentration. And you're literally grinding a letterbox, a cutout, into the face shield. So by fitting the rip and roll system, again, it comes from the dirt bike market, the scrambler bike market. You are basically rejuvenating a mask that otherwise you'd have to discard. The spools that roll the film roll a thin acrylic film, so that when you're spraying overhead, when you're spraying in crawl spaces, there's two huge advantages to the system. Number one, you don't have to remove the mask to clear the vision. You simply reach up and pull the rip cord and it spools on a fresh letterbox of film. All this done without you having to remove the mask. And this is vital because in the course of a day, if you're doing peel-off systems, you have to remove your mask. And if there's fumes in the vicinity, it's not good. Unless you're very good at holding your breath, unless you can hold your breath for 4 or 5 minutes, you're not going to escape without breathing fumes. So this system will allow you to quickly and easily, without removing your mask, maintaining your fresh air supply, clear your film and continue on spraying. It's a huge time saver, suitable for when you're spraying overhead, where you've gotten lots of blowback onto the mask. If you're spraying floors or spraying stud walls, your traditional systems will do. But I found this system particularly useful when you've got lots of blowback onto your mask. Here now I'm applying the mastic, and this will form the seal, the airtight seal between the rip and roll system and the existing mask. It's not pretty to look at, guys and girls. Nothing about this is pretty. It's not meant to be pretty. It's meant to be functional and durable. And when it all gets gunked up with spray foam, after a few hours, you're not going to notice whether your sealer is on a little bit uneven or not. The main goal here is to maintain airtightness. So I am now placing the new face shield, the rip and roll face shield, on, and I secure it with duct tape because we now have to let that dry for about 24 hours. Let it dry overnight so that the mastic that I've used will secure the face shield so that there is enough stability to mount the spools, the rip and roll spools, left and right. There's a feeder spool and a recovery spool. The recovery spool has the rip cord, and as you're spraying, you pull the rip cord and it reels out new film so that your vision is cleared. One of the disadvantages if you're getting a lot of blowback is that the spray foam tends to build up on the recovery side, so that you don't actually get through a full reel. You have to cut it, remove it, and roll in some fresh. So here's the finished mask, guys and girls. I'm just securing the backing plates through the existing Perspex, because it's the existing Perspex face shield that you're mounting the mask onto and the spools for stability. So here I'm pulling across a spool. It's a little bit finicky, a little bit tricky. I wish the mechanisms were sturdier. They're not. I guess they're fine for dirt biking, but personally, when the foam sticks the film on occasion, sometimes these spools derail when you pull. So you have to be careful with the pulling mechanism. You don't want to strong arm it, or else you might pull the film clean off and expose the underlying clean shield to spray foam, which is what you don't want, or you'll be doing a change, a complete mask change. And also you don't want to damage the mechanism. So you have to mount these gently and pull gently during the spraying day. Do not throw the mask down on the ground, guys. These spools will get damaged. This is a deflector that comes with the kit, which keeps foam from getting inside the film and your new face shield. So we mount it on the upper side, and it does a pretty good job on protecting the interface of the roll film with the mask. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I hope you find this adaptation useful. It'll get life out of your old masks and save you a ton of money and time and stop you breathing those nasty fumes. Full disclosure, Rip and Roll, the company, didn't pay me or encourage me to make this video. I just found their product useful. eBay and the internet is full of other roll-off systems. Feel free to try those. If you find a good system, please let me know. I'd be delighted to hear. I've dealt with Rip and Roll. I've dealt with Natalie in the office there. Her number is on screen right now. I found their delivery service prompt and efficient, and the product's reasonably priced. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I really appreciate it, and I'm honoured by the fact that you watch these videos. Thank you.